How many of you want to make more money? Okay, so we're not in business to make sales, we're in business to make a profit. And no matter what business you're in, you can use this. So my dear friend, young Victoria, hasn't she done a great job tonight? She organized the whole thing, put the whole thing together. Well done, Victoria. As always, perfect job. So basically she said to me, share 10 real life stories just quickly, real quick, and then get out of here. So I'll do that. Got to have my hair done at that place. Okay, so the first one was a dentist. We had this dentist in Surrey, wanted to get into the US market. Canadian dollar was at about 64 cents. And he said, how do we get into the American market real quick? We don't want to pay a fortune. We had some consultant type in Washington State wanted $40,000, no guaranteed. So we thought, who can we piggyback on? Who already has the kind of clients that we want to use? And we spoke to this crowd. They were laser eye surgery company in Vancouver. They were going out of business, had a massive database in Washington State. We paid them 10 grand. They sent a letter that we created out to their Washington State database, and they said, you got to meet this dentist. He's fantastic. Come up. You can stay overnight in the Sheraton. We booked solid for 6 months. Now, $10,000 might sound a lot to you. One mouthful of implants was $40,000. So that $10,000 return on investment was massive. But we piggybacked on their relationship with their clients. Works really well. Second thing we did, another thing that we did was distributorships. Rika and I had 18 salespeople. We were selling, years ago, selling SMI distributorships to people for $25,000, and we had our own salespeople in our distributorship. And one night, Rika was swimming in the bathtub, and I was sitting on the toilet seat talking to her, and she said to me, you know, you sell these $25,000 deals, and your salespeople get a better idea, get a better deal, so why don't you put your own distributorships together? So I said, well, what do we charge for them? 10,000, 7,000? She said, no, charge 10,000. So we sold 15 of our 18 salespeople, we sold them each a $10,000 distributorship, made 150 grand, and they ended up making more money than they'd ever made as salespeople. So distributorships work really, really well, and I'll share more about that with you later on. But that one works. And then RedKen, I was doing a lot of work with hairdressers. That's why I have such a lovely head of hair, so I'm so beautiful. But that actually set me apart. I'm quite an anomaly. All these guys in the beauty industry, they're all these big, hunky, sort of hello, deep voices, tall guys, hair, the whole thing, gay. And here's me. You know? So anyway, so I got into the hair industry, and I did. After 4 months, we had 4 salons, each paying me $1,000 a month, and we doubled their sales, and they were all happy. But that's what I had after 9 months, and that profit turned to $4,000 a month. Gave a talk at haute coiffeurs, a few hundred hairdressers falling around. At the end of my talk, a character that ran the RedKen for that, the RedKen hair products for that country came to me and said, let's do a joint venture. I want to get my product into more salons. You want to get more salons as clients. You want some leverage. Let's do this. You agree for the next year to only train salons that use RedKen, and we'll promote you. Now remember, it took me 9 months to get to $4,000 a month. He used his marketing machine. They went to salons. They said to them, the only way you get Rob and Elliott is if you stock RedKen on your shelves. Within 4 days, we went from $4,000 a month to $20,000 a month. And that's the power of joint ventures. When you work with the right people, you can piggyback on all their resources, and you pay for results. You don't pay for promises. RedKen got into 16 new salons. I got 16 new clients. And if you'd put that together, you would have had money from me and from RedKen. So that worked. In my own business, I very seldom pay for stuff. Sometimes I do. I'm not cheap. I'm just smart. So I like to get stuff free. All my websites that I've ever had, I never pay for a website. And I got them at my beck and call. I pay for results, not promises, and I use joint ventures in my own life. But 95% of my income is from joint ventures. 5% is from coaching. And the coaching is the way I meet wonderful people like Jane Mackay, and I find joint venture partners like that. So I get joint ventures from coaching. But you should always only pay for results. If you're doing advertising, do contingency advertising. Put it together that you pay for results. Let them advertise. They've got the space. They've got the resource. They advertise. People respond to them. They send you the leads. You pay them commission on sales. Auto lube. I had a guy that was doing lubes, tires, car servicing, that sort of thing. And what normally happens, you take your car down for a lube, and they say, what do you want? So service a car. They sit down and shut up, read an old dog-eared magazine and drink stale coffee. And when you're done, they bill you, and you take your car and you waddle off. So we put together a really nice checklist, 20 things. And we trained those salespeople. So now when you go in with your car, let's just make sure that everything is covered so you don't get halfway down the street and you think, what did I leave out? 20 things on that checklist, 10 things we didn't supply. We outsourced 10 of them. And all of that was 100% back-end profit for us. We took in from $8 million to $10 million. Not just doing the checklist, that was one of the things that we did. It worked really well. Instead of opening branches, I had a client who was going to open branches in Saskatoon, Calgary, and Toronto. It's going to cost him $465,000. We created $6,000 distributorships for him. A distributorship is a fantastic way to grow your business really fast. Instead of selling one or two products, you sell $20,000 worth of products at a time. So it's not a franchise, not a license. The distributorships work fantastic. Dealerships and distributorships. We put together for him, we put a $6,000 dealership together. He saved $465,000, and he makes money every time he sells one. Car dealerships, this is expectations. We all have expectations, right? We get what we expect. We all know that theoretically. Here's a proof that it works. You know Yonker with a J? Right, these are South Africans. So they used to have Nissan dealerships all over South Africa. And 14 years ago, we came to Canada. While we were there, he hired me to train his salespeople. So he did a little exercise. He had this car dealership. I don't remember the numbers anymore, but let's say the average car dealer, the average salesperson was selling 4 cars a month. Let's say that's what they're selling. We conspired to lie. We said, when we hire new salespeople, we're all going to lie together. And we're going to tell them that the average salesperson sells at least 10 cars a month. So instead of the real 4, we told them the average guy sells 10. Guess what they sold? 10. As soon as they found out that we were lying, guess what happened to the sales? Bang, down to 4 again. So people, whether you're a sales guy, whatever you're doing, your expectations will determine what you accomplish. That's why my coaching works, because I want to work with clients, I up their expectations and I give them reason to believe it. We've got actual proven systems to do that. So that was an interesting one. Also, one of them had a beard. I told them to fire him. I used to have a beard. I had to have an exercise operation. You know, weak chin, bad skin, you got a beard, right? So they did an operation, cut the beard off. Rika had never seen me without a beard off. She left for 6 months. The kids ran away. But you can't believe the difference. When you cut your beard and all this junk off your face, the response that you get from people is unbelievable. Big, big difference. So you should never have salespeople with beards and moustaches and stinky things. Selling franchises, yeah. This is the hot button. You know, I spoke to a guy yesterday. He's got his salespeople. They're doing a few $1 million in sales they do financial planning, that sort of thing. And he said, I asked people to send me referrals. Well, that doesn't work. We all ask people to send us referrals. It doesn't work. You've got to find their hot button, give them what they want. Simple illustration of that in South Africa. We had a guy who was a place called the Orange Free State. It was like Saskatchewan, right? It was just flat farmland, wheat, that sort of stuff. And he bought the rights for a carpet cleaning franchise out of Miami. So he's sitting in a farm. The guy can hardly speak. You know, he can't sell anything. He's not going anywhere. So he said, can you help me to sell these franchises? I said, sure. What does the average South African want? And that time, many, many years ago, when there were still people there, we decided to, what does everybody want? They want a trip to the States, and they want to go to Disney World. It was Disney World or Disneyland, the one in Orlando, right? So we increased the price of the franchise, of the carpet cleaning franchise, to cover the cost. So there's no extra cost to us. And all we did was, he said, when you buy this carpet cleaning franchise, you're going to get trained in Miami, in America, and you're going to get a certificate, a framed certificate, all hunky-dory. Then you're going to go to Orlando, you're going to go to Disney World and put on the ears and sing silly songs and all that stuff. We sold them out. I think it was 2 months or something. We sold all those dealerships out. What they were buying was a trip to the States for 2. And they were just getting a franchise thrown in, sort of thing. Didn't cost us anything. When you give people what they want, remember the Kirby vacuum cleaners, those things you used to get a second mortgage to buy that thing? What did they used to do? A sales guy used to show up at your door, hello. See, I went to your neighbor, but he's dead or he left or whatever, And my boss will fire me if I don't do this presentation. Please let me do this presentation. I've got 2 gifts that I have to give you for the 30-minute presentation. He doesn't tell you it's going to take 2 hours and get a second mortgage. He just 30 minutes to show you what happens. Would you like the steak knives or the flashlight? Which will work for you? Oh, mommy, come along. Let's decide. Would you like the flashlight? He forgets about the Kirby. Right? It's all about the free stuff and the hot button and stuff. When you give people what they want, they'll give you what you want. Oh, the dentist in Seattle again. The dentist, rather, here. They'd want to sell into Seattle. The other thing that we did is we got a talk show host in Seattle. And this guy's got an audience that adores him, something like Rush Limbaugh. And we said to the guy, if you really, really, we want to work with you, And this is what we want to do. You bring your cat, your dog, your kids, your wife, bring them up here to Vancouver. We'll do all their dental work, no charge, no obligation. Only question that we ask you is this: if you like what we do, tell your audience in Seattle. He came back, just him. He came up, put him in the Sheraton for his sins, stayed in the Sheraton, got his teeth done, went back, raved about them on the radio, filled them up for another 6 months. The end of that year, they sold the dental studio, made a fortune, moved down to Harvard. He's lecturing at Harvard now. But really, these are simple things, and it's just 10 simple things. I think that's all. Restaurant. How many restaurants do you think there are in White Rock? More than 20,000. There's lots of them. Even the organic place, great, right? Lots of restaurants, a lot of competition. How do they differentiate themselves? Free, good food. That's the raw food. That's different. But most of them, they don't know how to differentiate. Oh, we give good food, good value. The waitresses are sexy, all this junk, right? That they don't know how to differentiate. So a restaurant came to me and said, what do we do? How do we differentiate themselves? So we said, well, you go along to the beautiful hairdresser, you go along to the spa, and I worked a lot with hairdressers. So if you've got a quiet time, let's say Wednesday morning is really quiet for you in your salon, and the seats are open, you don't know. Just what about if you give away free haircuts and you do a really good job? Are they going to come back? Of course they will, right? But they've got to taste you first. They've got to check it out. This is the free sample. So that's all we did. We would give away, when at the end of the meal, the maitre d' would show up with a little cloth hanging over him. Hello, madam, sir, did you enjoy the meal? How was the free food? Everything. Talks to them. Did you enjoy it, madam? Especially for you, I've been authorized by the management to gift you with a special gift card for a free facial, free manicure, free pedicure, valued at $75 at the spa just across the road, with our compliments. Subject to availability. Here's the gift certificate. Who pays for the gift certificate? The salon. And you can do this with the interior designers, with a huge amount of people. We did 2 deals with them. We said, number 1, you're going to print it, you're going to provide it, we're going to give it to our clients. Number 2, if they become clients, we want 10% commission on that as well. Their sales went up by 47%. Just giving away free gift cards. What would you say? You go along to your husband drags you off to a restaurant one night, and after enduring the meal, you sort of stagger home, and that's it. But imagine if you went home with a facial, free pedicure, free manicure, free haircut. Makes a huge difference. So those are just 10 quick things. But the bottom line is, how can you differentiate yourself, add massive value at no extra cost? How can you really reach a massive, larger market, focus on back-end income and profit instead of sales? Everything changes. So if you're interested in more of this, because they're Posh Entertained with an I instead of an E, and you can get, and Victoria did all these videos for you. There's 10 of them. They're real short, like I'm short, so I stuck with the video. So you get the free videos. She'll send you a link for that, and you can watch the videos if you need more of this face. Thanks for listening. Have a great evening, and it's good meeting you. Thanks, Victoria. Well done.